Welcome. It's 22nd of June. This is your Solana Daily Debrief. All right. So quickly, let's just jump into tokens like they have been for the last few weeks. Everything is basically a little bit up, a little bit down, 135 for Sol, nothing really important. But let's kind of zoom out and have a look and see what's going on in general. So this is some pretty big news. Remember, although it's, mostly Solana that we talk about, anything that relates to Bitcoin lifts Solana and altcoins in general after a certain period of time. So Argentina's president says there will be free competition of currencies. So if you want to use Bitcoin, there will be no problems. Not that I necessarily think that, okay, sorry, one second. Let me just check. All right, cool. Not that I necessarily think that people will be using Bitcoin to pay. I mean, there is crazy hyperinflation. It could just mean a more open economy. So it could be good for Argentina in general. Michael Dell, you should know from Dell, the very big computer company, put out this tweet. And remember, this is a Web 2 dude. He has nothing to do with blockchain. He's not like Mark Cuban. As far as I'm aware, he's not really jumping in there. This has gone out to, a lot of people have seen this. 30,000 votes, and people in the general Web 2 world actually think that blockchain is going to be pretty big. That's pretty crazy. Now, having said that, it seems like Michael Dell is kind of getting behind Bitcoin of late. So maybe that's just been, actively gone after by crypto Twitter users. So founder and CEO of Dell Technologies is the majority shareholder, owning almost 6% of the stock. Dell has $6 billion worth of cash, and now he's posting about Bitcoin. Maybe this is going to be similar to Michael Saylor, or even remember in the previous cycle, Elon put some cash reserves from Tesla into Bitcoin. And this is his actual Twitter, so he's going to flick this out a couple of days ago, and this one as well, retweeting this. So that's kind of interesting. Also, Justin, $820 billion worth of Standard Chartered Bank to establish a spot trading desk for buying and selling Bitcoin and Ethereum. I've never heard of this bank, but it's big. It's properly big. It's all over the world. So this is pretty crazy news. This here is relates to the amount of Bitcoin that's on exchanges. So how it works is when you see whales move large amounts of Bitcoin or Solana or ETH to an exchange, it's generally to start setting limit orders and just to basically turn it into USDC or Tether. And when that Bitcoin leaves the exchange, it goes back into a ledger cold wallet. So when you see these big intakes of like the exchanges having a lot of money, of a lot of Bitcoin, you see the price go down. And then when all of a sudden a lot of Bitcoin actually leaves the exchange, like what we've basically seen, like if this is the lowest point in 3 years, that's when we start to see a price rise because we just have less sell pressure. That's one indicator in a series of indicators. Another thing that we can use, and I think I've got this right, but I haven't followed this person, so I'm not sure if I've got it bang on, but basically the amount of money in the system. So when governments money print, then all of a sudden, like riskier assets like crypto and stuff, they go up. Also like housing and just inflation happens in general. And we've had this period where it actually there hasn't been a lot of money printing. Like COVID, there was a huge amount. And then, basically what we're seeing right now is an increase in money printing. So this kind of times with my belief that 2026 will be like the height of the real estate market and just a lot of other riskier assets like stocks will keep on going up. Crypto will have its kind of day next year. I don't think it'll last to 2026. But either way, when there's more money printing happening, then we see prices just generally just jump up. Also, I understand it's annoying to see our tokens go down. And I know I say this all the time. Of course, it's not financial advice, but this is a time when people lose interest because there's no craziness. So this is where we are right now. This is right where we are in the cycle. And this is what comes next. Does it come next month? I doubt it. Does it come towards the end of the year? Most likely. If you ever need to just work out how it's been in the past, work out how it's been in the past to work out how potentially it could be in the future. So there's all these times, there's all these mini kind of metas or narratives that go throughout an entire cycle. And if everything just went up straight up vertical, it would be dangerous because not enough people would get in and the actual correction would be insane. So you don't want it to go straight up vertical. You want it to have some pullbacks. So just keep in mind that in the previous 2 cycles, we had a lot of like good and bad news, and we've had our we dared stage. This is the constructive and bullish time, and then things get stupid, you sell. So 2025, that's when things will get silly. Also, Queen of Souls put this out. This is just referring to the fact that, at this stage, people are calling for Sol to crash and it's all over. If we zoom out, this is back here. Like it does this run up and it's like, what? That's so crazy. And then it comes on down and it's like, oh, it's all over. And then bam. This is the same structure, in my opinion, just at a higher level and a cycle later. The Bonk guy, who's probably my favorite meme coin winner, who's just, done really well with Bonk with a huge amount of conviction, is following other meme coins like Flocky, Bonk, Whiff, and Pepe, and saying, in his opinion, that these things are still going to run quite a bit further. So maybe you want to set some sort of dollar cost average or a value average using JUP.ag. Marty Party also has this point here regarding Pantera Capital that they've put out a report saying Solana is a Mac OS of blockchains. In other words, just user-friendly, devs can get involved. It's a place where people kind of want to be, even though I use Windows. Jupiter has gone ahead and integrated Get. So there's quite a few different on-ramping solutions already. If we come back to this point here, we can see like there's bridging and there's the centralized exchanges, but OnRamper gives you a really good solution. I'm pretty sure OnRamp is the same one that Soulflare Wallet uses as well. Now a little bit of airdrop news. So personally, I'm not doing Zeely and Galaxy quests, and to be even more kind of frank, these are worth the time if you have the time. I just don't have the time. If you are like in Nigeria or somewhere and you've got, you're trying to make a decent amount of money off airdrops with a lower capital, then these are worth your time, I think. However, if you've like got a busy life and it's just not worth the risk of like spending, 5 hours a week on them, give them just skip them. But basically all these quests require no money. They just require like liking tweets and all that sort of stuff. And very, very early to some of them. Switchboard being the one that stands out as not actually early. Noon also has a list of tokenless DeFi protocols on Solana. If you have the time, go through as many as you can. So people are going to ask me, what am I actually doing? So we'll just quickly go through them. Meteora, yes. Solana, no, not yet. Switchboard, minorly, just in terms of like holding some INF using Camino. I need to work out what other things we can do and how we can get orbs. I've got a researcher on this. Symmetry, not really. I want Symmetry to do well, but I don't know if they really have proper product market fit. Sandglass, no. Ranger, no. Flash Trade is like a perp stacks like dupe. So I like it. It's just, this is not the time to really be long and shorting unless you know what you're doing. Textures like Rainfi, I prefer Rainfi over texture, but I'm, open if you use them all. The Vault Finance, you can go and take some Sol and put it, delegate it to validate.com, and then take your VSOL and then go and stake it for points. Good. Zeta Markets, we know that airdrop's coming. Clone Protocol, not using this. Need to do a deep dive. MarginFi, not really, but I mean, eventually a token will come. They're probably going to time the market. Probably worth having some funds in here, trying to generate some sort of score. Photon, no, but worth it. D-Bridge Finance, yes. GetGrass, yes. D-Flow, I've told you about it, but not doing it. Magic Eden, no. I don't know what this one is, so no. DiviBet, have some of the NFTs, but not using it. Not using NX Finance, don't know what that is. Probably worth checking out though. Leverage, hold an NFT, but I'm not using it. And Apollo, not partaking in the testnet yet, but I think this is probably worthwhile doing because Bitcoin does lead everything. So I think we'll work on a tutorial for that next week. Solf has a better breakdown of things that they're actually doing. Remember, in some ways, like if you go for the big ones and you spend a lot of time on them, there's like a lot of dilution. However, if you go for the small ones, then they may not actually give you much. So you got to kind of keep up, work out what you want to do. I'm going to be covering Cube from Monday. So stay tuned for Cube on Monday. Here's a thread on leverage if you want to get involved with Jussie and his style. Leverage is basically you can long or short, I believe. I thought you could only long, but apparently you can long or short per my researcher, like meme coins. Really not sure if you can short them, but maybe you can. Data markets, how to claim your ZEX. I'll let you know when, we'll do it live with the tutorial wallet when it's actually good to go. I don't know if the date is actually here. I don't think the date is here, but this is here if you need it for any reason. Now Holdium, not overly bullish, not overly like not bearish or anything. Low followers. They're trying to do something which I mentioned is pretty cool, but haven't spoken to the team. There's no like conflict or anything here and have no information on this other than the fact that if you hold certain positions, you will get a Holdium like reward. So the wallet registration opens on June 26th. I'm guessing you have to actually go and submit your wallets, which could be cool. But if you have, if you're staking Bonk, like locked in Bonk rewards, or if you just have Bonk in your wallet, you'll be eligible for Holdings HM. I haven't worked out how many, but my researcher has a certain amount in mind, so we'll go over that shortly. This is some big news with regards to Solana in general. Just make sure, yep, everything's all good. So scaling needs to happen on Solana. So right now, with the cost of Sol, if you wanted to airdrop a new meme coin, I'm not going to give anyone any naming ideas, minting 10K and airdropping them, it's going to cost like a decent amount of money. At the moment, Light Protocol is working with Helios to try and create compressed accounts for a fraction of the cost. So this is very important because when Sol is $1,000, then, like that's a 10x. That's $26,000 thereabouts to actually mint all these. So this is very, very important. I didn't know it was possible. I heard it was possible, but no one was really doing anything until now. So I don't know when that's actually going to come together, but you can read the thread. It'll be linked below. And Mert's gone over it as well. I just don't know when it's going to be. But basically, a million users, 260K, now it's $50. So incredibly cheap once it's live. I believe it's live on testnet. Now, a little bit of an update on Brother. He's just trying to degen this wallet to get somewhere decent until the 28th of June. Started with 1,700, worked his way down to 1,000, then 800, and then $83, and now back up to 800. This guy degens a lot, and so I just want to point this out that, yeah, we will get lucky from time to time, but the safest thing is not to degen too much. Like $1,000, if it's like, maybe less than 1% of your portfolio or something, it may be worth it. Now we have some Memecoin news with regards to water, and I didn't even hear about it. So I missed it. My researchers missed it. But a lot of people actually kind of found out about it. So this is basically, it was a pre-sale, just like drop a link. The link goes out, raised $40 million in like 5 minutes. And it was promoted by the Bear Coin, like the Bear Coin team. So where it says same group who made Bear now doing pre-sale for water, they raised $40 million. And I'll show you this on chain in a second. It's absolutely insane. Nothing there. Sorry. So Watercoin, I'll give them a follow just to see what's going on so I can stay up to date with them. I didn't get involved in this in any way. They just joined in June. And at present, there's no water token that's actually being released. We'll just give it a refresh in case something's changed. So there's nothing out there. Now I have no idea if this is going to be something that's going to do well. I mean, they've got a massive treasury, but that kind of money could mean that, they think they're entitled to a lot of money. Maybe they want a $10 million treasury fund, and I'm just not sure how it's going to play out. This was the website. It says charity token, but like these are from anonymous crews, team members. Like they could do anything. But I mean, it was promoted heavily, and just didn't reach my kind of it didn't reach my where I'm looking. I did have a tweet that showed that Zach did a bit of a rundown onto things, but it looks like I've missed out of that tweet. So XBT Zach did a bit of a expose on this and found that there's just like, it's just been shielded on, let's see if we can find it. It was being shielded on Instagram of all places. And it did really, really well. Clearly, really, really well. But just be aware that, kind of shady techniques. Don't send any money to this wallet right now because the pre-sale's closed. If you do it, you're probably not going to get anything. There's already been this is crazy, $42 million just like that. However, having said that, any SOL that you have, team, go stake it with Validate.com. Now, if you go to Bird Eye, water, it's going to be, they're all fake. They're all fake. There is no water token. So if you plonk in water, there's already a decent number on Sol, decent amount of volume, and people just getting wrecked. And just anyone that's actually making these, they're doing well, really, really well. And this is the thing, like if someone like this, all you need to do is just go and spin up like a couple, like 5 of these, fund it with something, and you can just extract so much liquidity out of the ecosystem by people that have no clue. Like this is the fake token and it's still going up. Like maybe you can't sell it. It looks like no, people are selling it. Okay. Don't buy this. This is not the real one. It's not up anything crazy, but it's not the real one. There is no real token thus far that's released. So somebody asked if I could show how to actually put this into a Meteora pool. Can, once the token's actually released. What I will do is I'll show you how to do it though. So here we are at Meteora. This is my Sol DJT wallet, not a lot of liquidity, earning some fees. As I showed you previously, quite a few times, we're using the DLMM model. But what I'm going to do is I want to remove all the liquidity here, and let's jump in to the dynamic pool, because if I show you how to do that now, then hopefully, okay, I've just lost all my DJT. If I show you how to do this now, then hopefully you'll be able to make a little bit of bank when water actually launches. And that's certainly not financial advice. There's still a decent amount of Web 2 kind of Instagram people that somehow have found their way into this. And remember, life is not just about crypto Twitter. Like in the previous 2021 Memecoin cycle, Twitter wasn't really the alpha place. It was like sharing across like groups and Chinese groups and like their Weibo apps. I may have got that name wrong, sorry. But it was all about, it wasn't just crypto Twitter. Crypto Twitter is not necessarily always going to be the place. So let's look for DJT because there's already something here. However, what you may have to do if water isn't created is you go and select water. If you had it, right? Grab water, grab a second token, Sol probably, or USDC, and go and put it in, and you can set your fee tier. Probably go with 6%, or even go with a couple of different pools. And that's certainly not financial advice. That's definitely like, this is learning through using, and there's degeneracy there. So here, this is the most amount of TVL, not a crazy amount of volume, but still like fairly decent. So we're just going to jump into this one. Has a 6% fee. So this is really only going to be used when, when there's issues with bots. So I'd probably prefer to go into something with a smaller fee, like 4%. That fee is really, really low at 0.25. But you know what? We'll just go into this. So first, I need to go and swap some. So I'll just get like 0.4, swap, and grab some DJT. And then we'll go ahead and we'll deposit it. Give this a little refresh. Great. Max. Cool. Deposit. And we're just going to see what it's like come Monday. So we'll see how big this is. The rewards, as far as I'm aware, they just get recompounded back into the pool. And this is how Prosper the other day did really, really well with their DJT Sol thing. Now, I don't think this is going to do terribly well because, you know, DJT's had its heyday. This is probably the time for me just to sell out at whatever I made, almost nothing. I'm just showing you now so you're aware of what you need to do with water if you want to go on that highly speculative DGM play that will highly likely result in you losing money. This is not financial advice. All right, $116.79. We'll see what it has in the coming days. My other pool here, don't know why that's like that, but we'll work it out later. IO, oh, here we are. This is my other pool here. Remember, I'm not doing terribly well out of it, but that's okay. It's still within range. It's still generating fees. I'm getting those Met points. Next thing for you to do is, this has been edited down heavily by Pedro from the Uplink working group. This is Jupiter's proposal, airdrop changes, align the community more. It'll be linked below. Make sure you subscribe to the JUP channel and go and watch this. This is like all the best, all the kind of the real proper TLDR from an hour. So this is heavy editing to make this really, really work. So go through this so you work out what the airdrop changes are going to be as proposed by Meow. This is definitely a worthwhile listen. Also make sure you subscribe because any future kind of easier tutorials will also be going on this channel as opposed to mine. Now let's jump into the actionables. Check out Camino's MSOL and Sol Marinade Incentivized LP. I just checked out before. It's still earning like 43% and there's still a little bit of room in the gap. If you prefer JUTO go JUTO and Sol, get some JTO. Set up your buy orders at app.finance trade. I've got a tutorial on this, and what I mean here is it's unlikely to happen, but if there was some sort of crazy liquidation event or whatever, or just some misrouting of a bot, if you go and set Sol at like, you know, $50, $60, whatever, as long as you have the USDC and you're happy just to have them sitting there and open orders, that could potentially get filled by some mistake. It's happened before in the past. It could happen again. DCA your Sol on JUP.ag and stake it with Validate.com, of course. Watch that JUP channel. Delete that section, sorry. Watch the JUP video on their channel. And remember, scammers are out. I don't DM people. So don't, if you get a DM from me on Twitter, it's not from me. It is just people that are scamming, and I don't want you to be scammed. The airdrop actionables. Remember, I'm just going to rank these in terms of like maybe easiest, but try Fabiano's Zealing and Galaxy Quests. This is $0 investment, only if you've got time, if you've got plenty of free time, like I'm unemployed or you got just plenty of free time. Otherwise, not worth it for a lot of people. Grass, if you're again amongst this, connect your Solana wallet and set up a node if possible. This is if you have a computer that doesn't have any hot wallets. Very low risk. If there's any issues with the software, it's just always better to be safe. Start using Meteora's DLMM or the dynamic pool with a few dollars just to generate some fees. Even if you don't know what you're doing, the best way to learn is to start. Just start with like $10, something really, really minimal. You're not going to make a lot from the airdrop, but you'll start to learn it. My researcher has said hold $25 million bonk in multiple wallets for Holdium airdrop. Don't know why it's 25. I don't know where that number has come from, but I normally go with 20. If you've got 25, cool. If you have some bonk that's with bonk rewards and staking, I still like to have 20 million that's not staked. I just find it gets a decent amount of airdrop. It can get a decent number of airdrops. And then relating to Hamster Kombat, do the daily combo and the daily cipher task if you're playing this. I'm still playing this. I think meme coins are still very much part of the cycle, and I think it's worth getting involved in other meme coin plays, especially one that has like 100 million people that are getting amongst it. I did have my friend Dan. He did actually mention, let me see if I can just pull up this app quickly. He did mention that he found a source saying it doesn't relate to accumulating their kind of token. What you want to do is get a nice, decent profit per hour. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but 400,000, just try and get a nice, decent profit per hour. Don't spend a lot of time on this, of course. This is like you go to the toilet. This is what you do while you're doing your number twos. Anyway, that's all for today. Enjoy your weekend. Make sure you touch grass tomorrow, and I'll catch you on Monday. Cheers.